everybody, and welcome back to another Kraken Packs video. I am your host, MrBevers. That's right, we're back again with Core Set 2020. This is the last box, box number 6. We finally did it. We're caught up. Holy moly. But we still have, like, I think 2 boxes of Modern Horizons that we never got through because of these sets all coming out in such quick succession and such. So, I guess that's probably where I'll end up next after we're done with Core 2020. Until the next set comes out, which will be, you know, pretty soon, considering Throne, right? Yeah. It's like, what, the end of September-ish, I think? Somewhere in that range. Alright. We're hoping for another Chandra, maybe another Sorin. I don't know, like, if we're looking at anything specifically in the price of things, to be honest. Like, I don't think if there's anything that like we're specifically looking for price wise, but I mean, I think we want a Chandra just for set completion's sake, and I think we need a Sorin still as well. I think we only got one of each of those so far, but we're gonna do a recap at the end of this video as well, so stay tuned for that. There'll be a recap of the case. This was something that was asked by a couple of you guys out there in the comments, so you saw I did a recap of all of the mythics and stuff from the case I did for my LGS, so I'm going to do it for this as well. So we'll see how it goes. Alright, we've got Loaming Shaman, Fry, Yarok's Wave Crasher, and Scheming Symmetry. Ah, Scheming Symmetry, you say? Yes, I say. Scheming Symmetry. We got a Bloodfell Caves and an Johnny's Pridemate token. And boom, ba-boom, boom. Pattern Matcher, Cerulean Drake, Manifold Key, and Temple of Mystery with a Soldier token and an island. Just a simple old island. There we go. Ogre Siegebreaker, Yarok Fenlurker, Woodland Champion, and Flood of Tears. Alright, so those of you out there, it's been a while. The set's been out for a while now. Tell me, what do you think? Leave a comment below. Let me know. What do you think the most underrated card in Limited right now is, if you playing Limited? If you're not playing Limited, what do you think the most underrated card from this set for Standard is right now? Something that you think will see more play when rotation happens. Something that you think isn't seeing enough play currently with the current meta. Blight Beetle, Ironroot Warlord, Thought Distortion, and our first mythic is Yarok the Desecrated. Good old 3/5 Death Touch for 5. 2 black, green, blue, and it's Death Touch lifelink, and if a permanent entering the battlefield causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control, trigger an additional time. A Johnny's Pridemate with an island. It's a sweet little card. Good old Sultai enter the battlefield effects. Lots of them. Lots of them. Angel of Vitality, Tomebound Lich, Dragon Mage, and Masterful Replication. Alright. Oh, and our first foil. There's our first foil. A Bone Splinters. Look at that shiny foil. There it is. Spirit and a mountain. For me, I haven't played enough Core 20 to know what I would think is like one of the more underrated cards. And it's hard to gauge it when you're playing in Arena, because Arena, the bots just don't, again, I don't get out to play in drafts at my LGS and stuff as much as I would love to. Overcome and Starfield Mystic. So for me, oh, we got a nice foil plains there. Look at that shiny one. It's pretty nice. 2 foils in a row. Treasure token with a wind-scarred crag. But, yeah. But, for me, like, in Arena, I noticed that, like, you're getting, sometimes you're getting a draft deck with, like, 4 or 5 copies of a common or an uncommon sometimes. Like, not necessarily an uncommon, but, like, you get 2 or 3 copies of an uncommon, and it's like, it shouldn't happen, right? Especially some of the ones that are stronger. Pattern Matcher, Creeping Trailblazer, Noxious Grasp, and Cavalier of Thorns. There's the green mythic. Elemental Knight, and another foil. 3 foils in a row. Captivating Gyre. My goodness. 3 foils in a row. Well, we're 3 for 5. No, we're not 3 for 5. We're 3 for 7. 3 for 7. 3 for 7 is a much more about average amount of foils, right? Portal of Sanctuary, Colossal Hammer, Sky Knight Vanguard, and Knight of the Ebon Legion. This card is great. I love it. I've been playing vampires in Standard on Arena right now, and I'm having a blast. The new Sorin is so good. Like, I was seeing, like, when I don't play ranked on Arena just because I don't really care. Meteor Golem, and I don't have enough time to grind ranked. That's my thing. So, like, even if I manage to get to, like, Mythic or whatever, I don't have enough time to maintain the rank to bother worrying about it, so I don't. Pulse of Marasa, Moldervine Reclamation, and Bag of Holding. With the Elemental Bird and a Forest. So for me, like, I was seeing a lot of the new Nissa from War of the Spark, right? A lot of decks running it and making 3/3 lands and doubling your green mana and stuff. The new Sorin from this set absolutely just bodies that Nissa because they make a land and you kill it by sacking a vampire, and it upticks Sorin. So it kills their land, so they lose 2 mana, and they lose a 3/3 creature. Right? And then if they put tokens on another land, you can kill it again. Like, it just bodies it, right? And then if you want to, you can just target Nissa with 3 damage instead of their creature to get her down from her ultimate, right? Like, it's absolutely broken in that sense. Brineborn Cutthroat, at least I've been having good experience with that combo. In fact, I've seen way less Nissa decks now because of that. Or not, maybe not because of that, but because, like, I've been running into less Nissa decks now compared to what I was running to before M20 came out. Cryptic Caves, Ember Hauler, and Leyline of Anticipation. I don't know where that Leyline sits. I don't think it's, like, super high up. It's like $5. And we got another foil. Pacifism. All right, we'll take it. We'll take a foil Pacifism. All right, we're jibber jabbering. We're jibber jabbing about a bunch of stuff here, and we're just not cracking packs as fast as we should, right? I should be cracking packs and talking at the same time. Rule of Law, Tomebound Lich, and Embodiment of Agonies. The Embodiment of Agonies. Feel the pain. What do we got here? Scholar of the Ages. Chandra's Spitfire, Cerulean Drake, and Gargos, Vicious Watcher. This card is so busted. This card's so busted because it's whenever a creature you control becomes a target of a spell, regardless of whether your opponent cast it or not. So I came up against a guy in draft that had this, and then just had, like, all of the green enchantments, and so, like, he was just enchanting his own creatures and then having this fight all of my board and just wiping it out, and then meanwhile his other creatures were just, like, murdering me. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I finally drew a removal spell, and I was like, I guess I'll remove Gargos. And he was like, well, if you're gonna remove him, I'll just fight your Death Toucher that's been holding back my board with Gargos, because he's gonna die anyway. And I was like, oh, yep, that's fair, I guess. Master Splicer, Air Elemental, Overcome, and Brought Back. Choose up to 2 target permanent cards from in your graveyard that were put there from the battlefield this turn. Return them to the battlefield tapped. Tapped. Tip, tap, tipperoo. Alright. Meteor Golem, Pulse of Marasa, Scampering Scorcher, and Temple of Epiphany. It's a Temple of Epiphany. You're going to have one of those Eureka moments in that temple right there. That's the whole point, right? Cryptic Caves, Corpse Knight, Ember Hauler, and Mystic Forge. Good old Mystic Forge. Hop, hop, hop. Wolf token and a land. Swamp. Swampy swamp. What do we got? What do we got? All right, we've got God's Willing, Vampire of the Dire Moon, Diviner's Lockbox, and Bishop of Wings. All right, all right. All right, we're looking for some more mythics here and some more foils. Fencing Ace, Retributive Wand, Overgrowth Elemental, and Glinthorn Buccaneer. And a Golem token with a Plains. Alright, what else are we going to see? What else can we find? More mythics and more foils. That's what we want. Scholar of the Ages. Oh, there's our first Risen Reef. There you go. Alright, so we're almost at 4 from an entire case. Right, I think we're at 3. I think we've opened 3 copies of Risen Reef out of a case so far. Mask of Immolation and Graph Digger's Cage. It's not a bad little rare. Elemental token and a Bloodfell Caves. Another Scholar of the Ages. Another Cerulean Drake. And a Diamond Knight. Well, there's a Chandra. It's not the Chandra. I'm looking for the Mythic Chandra, but I mean, I'll take it. I'll take it. We got a Soldier token and a Forest. Let's see. Eternal Isolation, Blood for Bones, Salvager of Ruin, and Repeated Reverberation. Oh, there we go. Empyrean Eagle, Season of Growth, Devout Decree, and Shifting Ceratops. Not a bad little one. And a foil Thicket Crasher. Oof. Oof-a-doof. Alright. We're up to, what, 5 foils now? But we're more than halfway through the box now. Unchained Berserker, Renowned Weaponsmith, Scuttlemutt, and Marauding Raptor. This is an interesting card. I've seen it do some interesting things, but I've also seen it just, like, absolutely destroy the person who played it. Like, the person's like, I play this, and then they're like, oh, I can't play any of these other things I have. Or, oh no, it keeps wrecking up my shit. Or, like, they play, like, a 4/4, and it takes 2 damage when it comes into play, and then the opponent just shocks their 4/4 so that it dies, and it's like, well, okay. Lightning Stormkin, Thought Distortion, and Leyline of the Void. All right, we'll take it. We'll take it. That's the heaviest hitting Leyline right there. That's pretty spicy. Pretty spicy. It's like 17 bucks right there. All right. Okay, okay. Pattern Matcher. Holy moly. 2 Risen Reefs in 1 box. What is going on? What is going on? Didn't we have a Mask of Immolation after the last Risen Reef too? I want to say we did. What happened? What? Okay, so we had Scholar of Ages, then Risen Reef, then Mask of Immolation. We did. We did indeed have a Mask of Immolation right after the last Risen Reef. It's weird. Hey, another Mythic. Kalia, Zenith Seeker, and a foil Bloodfell Caves. There you go. Who doesn't like a little foil Khans land, right? It's not like those are common by any means, right? They definitely haven't been reprinted in like too many sets. Right? Definitely not. Loyal Pegasus, Manifold Key, Might of the Masses, and Bishop of Wings again. 2 Bishop of Wings, and a foil Epicure of Blood. The Epicure. The Epicure of Blood. Alright, so we're a little short on Mythics, going into the last third of this box, and we're a little short on foils. Veil of Summer. Oh wait, Veil of Summer is one, isn't it? Veil of Summer is one of those uncommons worth some money. Fry, Blood-Soaked Altar, and Dread Presence. With a wolf token and a swamp. Alright. Those are our uncommons right there. Captivating Gyre, Hardcover, Moldervine Reclamation, and, hey, another Gargos. That's 2 Gargos. With a foil Disenchant. Alright, now I can build some sweet Hydra deck, right? I mean, I know that he's legendary and all, but, I mean, I'll put 2 or 3 copies of him into a deck. Sure, why not? Warden of Evos Isle, Howling Giant, Ancestral Blade, and A second Leyline of the Void? I mean, yes? Okay? Sure? What? Alright. I mean, okay. I mean, if you're gonna get doubles of a rare, why not get doubles of the highest rare? A second Veil of Summer, too. Did I miss any Veil of Summers? I feel like I might have. Flame Sweep, Ether Gust, and Chandra's Regulator. 2 Leylines of the Void. Okay, so we haven't seen that many, like, duplicated rares in boxes, right? Like, we've opened up 5. This is our 6th box. And we haven't seen, like, we've seen, like, maybe you get 1 duplicated rare in a box. That's what we've been noticing. This one, we've already got 3 duplicates, but one of them was Leyline, so we're not going to really complain too much. Rapacious Dragon, Renowned Weaponsmith, and Atemsis, the All-Seeing, and a sweet Evolving Wilds. Atemsis, actually, I was watching Jake and Joel on Twitch, like I think last week, and it was Joel playing, and he got a win with Atemsis. Managed to pull off a win. He was like almost dead. Like, I think he was on 4 life or something like that and was like barely holding on. And then drew Atemsis and already had like 4 or 5 cards in his hand that were different costs and was like, oh, I just have to live like 2 more turns. And he did. He did it. So I clipped it for him. So you definitely go check it out. Barkhide Troll, Gauntlets of Light, and Hanged Executioner. So it was a solid win. It was the super come from behind victory for him, and it was awesome. I was so happy to be there for it. Those 2 guys are solid too, Jake and Joel. They're great guys. Wolf Rider Saddle, Uncaged Fury, Chandra's Spitfire, and Leyline of Sanctity. All right, we'll take it. And a foil Shock. All right. Where is Leyline of Sanctity showing up? I think it used to be pretty high, didn't it? Is it down now? It is. It's like it's under Leyline of Anticipation. All right. It used to be higher than that, I think. But that's okay. We got 4 Leylines out of this box. We only got 2. We only got 2 of the lands though. The Scry lands. Chandra, Novice Pyromancer, Scampering Scorcher, Spectral Spirit, that's our first copy of Spectral Sailor out of this one, and Leyline of Combustion. Well, there you go, another Leyline. Not like, you know, like the Leyline of the Void is obviously the highest one. I think we're still short on Mythics here. We got 3 packs left, and we're only at 3 Mythics. I think we would hope to see at least 4 per box. But hey, Captivating Gyre, sometimes you're going to get a 3 Mythic box. It's just going to happen. Woodland Champion, Hardcover, and Seraph, Safara, Sky's Blade, which is, that card in Limited is just like, get absolutely just pooped on, because if they have any number of flyers before they play it, all of their flyers become indestructible unless you can remove it. A third Veil of Summer, wow. So all of our uncommons of note were hiding out in this box by the looks of things. Flame Sweep, Dragon Mage, and Thunderkin Awakener. Alright, we got 1 pack left. 1 pack left. We're short on foils, I'm pretty sure. We haven't hit a foil rare. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, so our foil rare average for the other boxes was somewhere between 12 and 13. And our foil count was 12 and 13. Our foil rares per box was about 2 something. And this box doesn't have a foil rare at all. Which, I mean, is sort of like, to me, it seems like that's probably bound to happen occasionally. Disfigure, Diamond Knight, Bloodthirsty Aerialist, and Planar Cleansing. So we're really short on Mythics here. We only got 3. And we're short on foils. So I think this box, even though it had the double Leyline of the Void, which is pretty sweet, I think this box is probably our worst box out of all the boxes we've opened, just from the aspect of number of like foils and the number of Mythics and that kind of stuff. But if you're talking about it from like a value standpoint, 2 Leyline of the Voids is pretty sick. It's pretty sick, right? You might as well have opened 1 Chandra and a Leyline of the Void, right? Like, I mean, basically same idea price-wise. I mean, Chandra's a little more, but not too much, right? The Cavalier of Thorns is like the best of those, isn't it? Or maybe that's changed? Let me check. Cavalier. Yeah, Cavalier of Thorns is still the highest Cavalier, which is sitting at about like $9. The other 2 Mythics we got are kind of like mediocre. Oh no, Yarok is good. Yarok is 14 bucks. So there you go. We hit Yarok is one of the top 5, and so is Cavalier. So Cavalier and Yarok are the bottom 2 of the top 5, but then Kalia is down at the bottom here. I mean, she's not the lowest, but she's pretty close, sitting at $3. But I mean, we hit 2 Risen Reefs and 3 Veil of Summers, and if we look at the uncommon costs, okay, right, because this is nonsense. Right, I forgot about this. So Risen Reef is sitting at 99 cents. Veil of Summer is sitting at $3. So, I mean, we got $9 just in uncommons here. It's not terrible. We didn't really hit anything of interest in the foils, per se. I want to say, like, I don't think any of these are, like, specifically high-priced foils by any means. Would have been cool to hit, like, a foil Risen Reef or a foil Veil of Summer or something like that. But, hey, can't always get all of the fun. And we got 1 Evolving Wilds out of an entire box. So that just gives you the average there. That's pretty funny. But yeah, not a bad little box. Interesting that we got the, like, 3 double rares. We got double Bishop of Wings, double of Gargos, and double of Leyline of the Void. I don't know where Gargos is sitting, actually. Is Gargos, like, worth anything? I want to say no. Just because... I don't know. I don't see him in here. Control F. What is it? G-A-R? Gargos? Yeah, so 56 cents. So not great, but hey, what can you do? Pretty sweet box. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. Stay tuned while I get the recap done. I'll pull out all the stuff from all the boxes and we'll lay it all out so that we can all see what's going on. And change. All right, so here's our recap. That was a quick shift, right? A nice little snap, and then here we are. Now, to mention before we go too crazy here, the recap is that this is also going to include all of the pre-release kits and the bundle I opened, mainly because I shuffled all of the rares and everything into those piles as well. So anyway, it's going to include that, but it's not going to include... I don't have the foil rares and stuff sorted. They're here. So, like, I've got the promos that are still sealed, right? And I've got the other foil rares that we opened. We got 2 foil mythics in total. I think that's our promo Chandra's Regulator there. All right, there's our other foil mythic. We got a foil Lotus Field, which is pretty nice. So that's all the foil rares we've opened so far, including promos. But as you can see, we've got 2 Ajani, 2 Cavalier of Dawn. We've got 6 copies of Cavalier of the Gales, 1 Mu Yenling, 3 Cavalier of Night, 1 Sorin, 2 Cavalier of Flame, 1 Chandra, 2 Cavalier of Thorns, 2 Vivian, 1 Kalia, 1 in foil, though. So we have 2 Kalia. We have 3 Kethis. We have 1 Kaikar. We have 3 Omnath and 1 Yarok. There you go. We have all the mythic. We have at least 1 copy of every mythic. That being said, we have so many copies of Cavalier of Gales. It's crazy. But that's what happens. If this had been 6 copies of Chandra, I would be ecstatic. But it's not. It's unfortunately Cavalier of Gales, which is it's still a $3 card, but still, it's not a $20 card. So then we've got, of course, our rares. I've sorted these all out already. So we've got 7 copies of Bishop of Wings. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 copies of Brought Back. 2 copies of Hanged Executioner. 1, 2, 3, 4 copies of Leyline of Sanctity. 1, 2, 3, 4 copies of Loxodon Life Chanter. 1, 2, 3, 4 copies of Planar Cleansing. 4 copies of Sephara Sky's Blade, and then 4 copies of Starfield Mystic. And then for blue, we ended up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 copies of Agent of Treachery. 1, 2, 3, 4 copies of Atimsis. 1, 2, 3, 4 copies of Dawn of Dreams. 4 copies of Dungeon Geist. 5 copies of Flood of Tears. 4 copies of Leyline of Anticipation. 2 copies of Masterful Replication and 2 copies of Tale's End. We have 5 copies of Dread Presence. 4 copies of Embodiment of Agonies. 5 copies of Knight of the Ebon Legion, plus a foil, so 6 copies total. 5 copies of Legion's End. 4 copies of Leyline of the Void, 6 copies of Rotting Regisaur, 5 copies of Scheming Symmetry, and 4 copies of Villis, Broker of Blood. Red, we have 3 copies of Chandra, 4 copies of Chandra's Regulator, 7 copies of Drakuseth, Maw of Flames, 3 copies of Glinthorn Buccaneer, 3 copies of Leyline of Combustion, 3 copies of Marauding Raptor, 3 copies of Repeated Reverberation, 5 copies of Thunderkin Awakener, 4 copies of Elvish Reclaimer, 3 copies of Gargos, Vicious Watcher, 4 copies of Leyline of Abundance, 5 copies of Nightpack Ambusher, 3 copies of Shared Summons, 5 copies of Shifting Ceratops, 3 copies of Voracious Hydra, and 4 copies of Wakeroot Elemental. Artifacts, we've got 5 bags of Holding, 4 copies of Golos, Tireless Pilgrim, 3 copies of Grafdigger's Cage, 6 copies of Icon of Ancestry, 6 copies of Mystic Forge, and 4 copies of Steel Overseer. 3 copies of Field of Dead, 3 copies of Lotus Field. We have a 4th copy in foil. 3 copies of Temple of Epiphany, 5 copies of Temple of Melody, 4 copies of Temple of Mystery, 3 copies of Temple of Silence, and 4 copies of Temple of Triumph. So there you go. That's a whole case. We got a playset of most of the rares. A couple of rares here and there. We got, you know, blue was a little bit short on the 2 at the end there. We got only 2 of each. There was a couple in some of the other colors that we only got 3 of each. Or 3 of some of them, I should say. Our mythic count was like all over the place. That being said, I'm pretty sure that 3 of these Cavalier of Gales came out of pre-release kits, which would put that down to a more reasonable 3 copies of that, which makes sense. I think one of these Cavalier of Knights came from a pre-release kit as well. So there you have it. So I mean, like, it's probably looking at about like two average of each mythic in a case. But I mean, like, you're also looking at, like, you get at least 1 of each, and then you're going to have, obviously, some differing things. We would have liked a 2nd copy of Sorin and a 2nd copy of Chandra out of the case, for sure. Mainly because I do want to play with both of those cards. So I'm going to have to pick them up individually to try and get those filled out for decks that I want to play. Just, you know, casually with my friends. So, anyway, there you have it. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. I have been your host, MrBevers. Don't forget, if you want to help support the channel, you can do so over on Patreon.com, where you can get things like grab bags, booster boxes, bundles, all that good stuff. There should have been a card that popped up at the beginning of this video talking about it. But you'll also get things from, like, the patron pile and all that kind of good stuff. So there's lots of, like, little hidden benefits of being a patron as well that don't really get necessarily presented on the Patreon page. So you'll just have to sort of, like, keep an eye out for what's going on over on Patreon. But if you can't support with a monetary value, don't worry about it. Thank you for just being here and watching. I really appreciate it. Don't forget, you can also like, share, and subscribe. That helps immensely. All of those things help immensely. Increasing the viewer base, increasing the subscriber base, all of those things help. So if you share it with your friends, your family, put it on Reddit, put it on Discord, I don't know, share it wherever you want. It doesn't matter. Put it on Facebook for all I care. Yeah, share it wherever you want. The more eyes on it, the better, right? And I really appreciate it. And if you can't do that, thank you for just watching. Just being here, leaving a comment, leaving a like. All those things matter. I really appreciate it. And as always, don't forget, may your pulls ever be better.